We are good to go.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Good.
Hi, Mr. King.
Hi.
Thank you for saying hi. We are going to start our math lesson today, but before we get into it, we're going to go over some class expectations. We're doing an awesome job in class. I feel like we're really hitting our stride, that mid-year stride, but I think we continue to get better. So, before we get into it, we're going to be playing a good behavior game today. I'm excited. If you don't remember, the way the game works is we have this chart, and we get points, or you guys get points for meeting expectations and doing what we're supposed to be doing in the classroom, and the teacher gets points if you make a mistake, have to redirect something, if you're not really engaged with the lesson, then the teacher will get a point. If you guys win, we get one of these cool incentives. I see extra recess, book time, computers, crafts. You guys know what you'd want to do? It can be your choice.
Sure, crafts are cool.
Crafts?
Yeah.
We haven't done crafts in a while.
Recess.
You want to do recess?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll vote on it later. But I think crafts or recess are good. We haven't done crafts in a while. But either way, I think the incentive will be really fun. So we'll figure it out then. All right. So these are our 3 classroom rules. Emily Ann, could you read the first rule for us?
Listen, when others are talking.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you for reading that. I think that is worth a point. I know, you're already on the board. And so when it says listen when others are talking, I can tell that you guys are doing a really good job of listening when I'm talking. What are you doing with your eyes when you're listening? Anyone can answer. Where are your eyes when you're
We're
listening to
supposed to
someone?
be looking at the person sometimes.
Yeah, I would say that. Your eyes should be on the person who's talking. What are your ears doing?
Listening.
Yeah, they're listening. Bridget, could you read number 2?
Keep your hands and feet to yourself.
I think we do a really good job of staying in our personal space. Bridget, you're doing an awesome job keeping your feet and hands to yourself. I notice your hands are on the table, your feet are on the floor. I assume, I can't really see the table, but I assume they're there. I think that's worth a point as well. Could you show me what it would look like if you weren't in your personal space? Where might your hands be? Yeah, see, that would be in someone else's personal space, be super distracting, right? I'm really glad we don't do that. I think we do a really good job. And could one of you read the third expectation and raise your hand when you, thank you, Emily Ann.
Raise your hand before speaking.
Yeah, thank you for demonstrating what it looks like to raise your hand before speaking. I liked how when you raised your hand, you didn't call out to get my attention. You did it really silently, and you waited for me to call on you. It's really hard for me to keep track of people when you're keeping track of who's answering what if people are just talking randomly. All right, so let's get into it. Today, our goal is to work on multiplying fractions. I know, we've done. I know math has been a little tired of it. It's been a lot. I think this is going to be a really useful skill, and I think we're going to get into it. It's been great. So last time we started talking about this, we started drawing it out. This time we're going to use the method that you're going to be using pretty much through the end of high school and college, wherever you stop taking math classes, and then after that, because this skill is super important. So let's start with some review. Can anyone tell me, how would you describe a fraction? What do you think a fraction is? Thank you. Thank you for raising your hand, Diane.
It's have to do with parts.
Yeah, it does have to do with parts. I would say that I would define a fraction as telling you how many parts are in a whole. Bridget, do you remember what the top part of the fraction is?
The numerator.
Yeah, and do you remember what the numerator tells us?
How many parts?
Yeah, it means how many parts there are, right? It's going to tell it. And then we said it's part of a whole, so Emily Ann, do you remember what the bottom number is in our fraction?
Denominator.
Yeah, it's the denominator.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Green, but
Yeah. Oh! Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate how you did raise
I
your
didn't
hand.
get a point when I said
I'm
numerator.
pretty sure you did get
I
it.
don't think I did.
You guys are ahead 4-0. I think we'll be okay. All right, so
we'll let you catch up.
all All right. We're gonna so we said our numerator is the number of parts that are parts of the whole that we have like. I lost my train of thought. Denominator is the total number of parts. Numerator is the number of parts that are like they were describing. And then multiplication. How would you describe what multiplication is? Does anyone have any ideas?
More of something. Making more of something.
Yeah. Keep talking. What's your? You said make more of something. Would adding be making more of something?
Yeah, I don't know. I always hear like when bunnies multiply, so maybe like
Ooh, what do you mean when the bunnies multiply?
when they make babies, so maybe like when more comes from one.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put that. Did you have a thought, Emily?
No, I like that.
You like that a lot?
Yeah, I like the bunny.
You know, the bunny.
Yeah. I think when I think of multiplication, I think of taking something, you're making a bunch of groups of it, right? And so imagine, and I'm gonna draw on this sheet, and you guys are doing a really good job of paying attention, so that'll be another point. Imagine I was doing 2 times 3. I'm gonna draw it out, but before I do that, do you guys have an idea of what the answer would be?
Yes,
What was your answer?
5.
5? What makes you think 5?
Because like you have to add them all together. Like you make it a big. know,
Okay.
like, groupings. We have 2 groups, 2 and 3, so making that in.
If you, yeah.
Yeah. So 2 and 3. I could totally see that. So you're saying that if you're you have to put the groups together and you get 5. I would say that's kind of like adding. But yeah. But I like where your head's at, and it's gonna be we're gonna kind of do something similar. So if we're doing 2 times 3, I'm gonna make a group of 2 blocks.
2 bunnies, 2 pens,
Yeah.
2 bunnies, and
You wanna
3
make them little bunnies?
3 in each pin.
Oh,
A little bunny in each box.
And they have 3 carrots each.
They have 3 carrots. Oh, do you want to?
Carrots do they all have?
Let's keep it to one thing to multiply because it's going to get too confusing. But so what I'm going to do is I start with 2. I'm going to make 3 groups of it. So I'm going to do another group, and another group, and make sure the bunnies have faces. Because all bunnies deserve a face. So we have, and then how many do we count here? I made 3 groups of 2. 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. How many bunnies do you count?
6.
6. Yep, we got 6 bunnies. So,
so that was kind of accurate.
yeah, you were really close. We got to make sure that we're making these groups and we're multiplying it out, and we're not doing something like 2 plus 3, which is where that would be something kind of close to what you're doing, where you had 3 and you had 2 and you add them together.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's what multiplication is. Now, I have a question for you guys. When I did 2 times 3, did the first number get bigger or smaller? Bigger? Why do you say that, Bridget?
Because we had more. We had 2 and 3, and we got 6.
Yeah. It got we got to 6. 2 got bigger by 4. What if I did something like 2 times?
I have to go to the bathroom.
Next time, can you raise your hand?
Can I go to the bathroom?
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So, Emily Ann,
Yes.
well, Bridget's in the bathroom, I'm gonna rely on you, okay?
Yes, okay.
2 times 1. Do you think 2's, what is that going to give you?
It's only gonna give you 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember the 1 rule.
Yeah. What's your 1 rule? That's a really good.
It's like any number with 1 being multiplied is just that number.
Awesome. You did an awesome job bringing some outside knowledge. That's worth a point. And Bridget, thank you for raising your hand to go to the bathroom. Yeah.
Don't talk to me while I'm peeing.
All right. So we noticed that when we multiplied by 1, it stayed the same. So when we multiplied by a number greater than 1, it got bigger. When it multiplies by a number by just 1, it stayed the same. What do you think is going to happen if we multiply by a number smaller than 1?
It's gonna be smaller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good connection. So when we're multiplying fractions, our numbers a lot of time are going to get smaller. If we multiply any number less than 1.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, this is the last thing we did for multiplying fractions. You'll notice that And I don't know if you heard, hey, glad you could join this
I'm
project.
done.
Thanks for being quick. So, you guys are at a great time. Yesterday we did this thing where we multiplied 1/2 times 1/4 and we drew it out. And I'm gonna have you guys kind of like draw along, and you can use the picture as a guide. So if you don't remember, we used the denominators to choose how many columns or rows in our rectangle there was. Okay, so up here I saw 1/4, so I did 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and I see 1/2, so I use the 2, and I use 1, 2 rows. You guys want to draw out that rectangle for me? You guys do an awesome job of being on task and going through it. I like how you guys are already separated out into different rectangles too. Ooh. Yeah. Can you finish drawing in the squares, Emily? Because I want you to remember that in the beginning, before we shade in, we're gonna, and I should have specified this, we're just drawing all the boxes in. All right, so when we do this, we see 1/2, and we see the numerator is 1, so we're gonna fit color in 1 row. And I want you to use slanted lines in like this direction. Yeah, just like you're doing, Bridget. And could you go all the way across your row, Emily? Because that's showing us that we have 1/2. Because we had 2 rows and we colored in 1 of them. And then for 1/4, does anyone have an idea? How many columns should we color in if we have 1/4? We have 4 columns.
1.
1? Why do you say 1? What makes you think that?
Because there's 4 and we're only shading in 1/4.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that's exactly right. We're going to be shading in 1/4. So you guys shade in 1 of the columns. Awesome. Now, do you notice, and you can look at the picture on the slide, but you can also look at your own, are any of the boxes colored in twice? Did you shade in twice?
Yes.
Can someone show me which one's shaded in twice? Man? Yeah, that's exactly right. We did that one twice. So that's going to be our numerator. Anything that's been colored in twice means that it overlaps. So our numerator is going to be 1. And then our denominator, does anyone have any idea of what our denominator might be? Eight. Yes, our denominator is going to be 8. How'd you get to 8?
I counted the squares.
That's exactly right. The total number of pieces is going to be what we're using. All right. And we're going to stop there, and I forgot to use the Twizzlers.
Yeah, I was going to eat one.